In addition to these global wind patterns that we discussed in our last video, we also have local wind patterns as well. And here, most of the differences are caused by temperature differences. Things getting hotter during the day when it's receiving sunlight, and getting colder at night once all of the land starts releasing the heat. And we're going to discuss three types of these local or small-scale winds: the land and sea breezes, as well as mountain and valley breezes, and then finally the Chinook and Santa Ana winds. When we're talking about the wind, there are two basic things that we want to be able to measure, and that's the direction of the wind as well as the speed, or how fast is that wind blowing. So to measure the direction of our wind, we use a really simple instrument called a wind vane. And this just looks like a tube of fabric that the wind is going to blow into. But it's capable of spinning around. So here the wind is blowing in this direction, forcing this long tunnel of fabric to kind of start elevating horizontally. But wind direction is kind of weird, because we name winds based on where they're coming from, not the direction they're moving in. So for example, if we're talking about a north wind, this is not wind that's blowing towards the north. Instead, this is wind coming from the north and moving any other direction. If you've ever been outside on a windy day, though, you might have noticed that wind comes from multiple directions. And this is called our prevailing wind. It's just wind that is coming from more than one direction. It changes a little bit over time. But the second major thing about wind that we want to be able to measure is the wind speed. And we do this with an instrument called a cup anemometer. And with this, there are little cups around these field post looking device. And as the wind hits it, it's going to cause this to start spinning around. So the faster the wind is blowing, the faster these cups will spin. And based on how nice they are, some you can just look and visually see is the wind blowing more gently or stronger. Or there are also digital ones that can measure the rate that these cups are spinning and tell us exactly in how many miles per hour the wind is moving. So while we have these big global winds and we also have our local winds, we're going to see that some of the things that can cause winds to change direction can be a cyclone or an anticyclone in the area. Remember, wind will always move from high to low pressure. So if it's experiencing an anticyclone or a cyclone, it might move a little bit differently than normal. But when the wind changes direction, it's going to bring changes in the temperature and the humidity as that wind is moving air in different locations.